What's good with y'all? Welcome back to Planet Rell. We have a new series from Image Comics by Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman. The same team who brought us Venom, Absolute Carnage, and King in Black. We got Vanish, issue 1. Let's get into it. So here we start out, we have a man walking through an alley late at night coming home from the bar. And we see that he has a drinking problem since he has to lie to his wife about how much beer he brings home. Then he mentions some crazy things that he has to take just to fall asleep. And I know you peeped it too. There was somebody up there watching him. I'm like, who is this? Now there's a man behind him with a bat following him in the alley, but he doesn't see him. So he continues to talk about the things he has to take throughout the day to stay calm. And he says this is his reward for saving the world when he was 14. Then he gets hit with the bat by the man who was following him. He continues to talk in his head and he says, behold, the chosen one. And I'm like, what happened in his past? What did he mean by that? And that piqued my interest, so I was eager to find out. And now he's getting beat up and robbed. And remind you, he's drunk, so he throws up. Now the main character's name is revealed. His name is Oliver Harrison. And the robbers are talking about going to his house and seeing what he got. And the character that was watching him from above says, how about we go to the emergency room instead? Or the morgue. He is talking about deleting people, bro. This is crazy. And now we see that his name is Battle Rocket. Then he takes these dudes up in the sky, flies around, and just slams them into the ground. And as you can see, they are done. Now Oliver is saying the impossible is happening because his sigil on his chest is burning. And Oliver is still talking about how it's impossible that his sigil is burning. But me, I'm looking at the fact that Battle Rocket, number one, he killed 2 people. Then he starts smoking. I'm like, bro, something up, bro. Like, nah, this ain't no kid, bro. I'm like, hold on, nah. He ain't no kid. So now Oliver realizes who this person is, and Battle Rocket is trying to play it off. But Oliver realizes, like, who he really is, and that must be a reason why his sigil is burning. And Battle Rocket is shook because of it. So now we cut into a whole nother part of the story. The Mistlands of Everkeep, the outworld of magic. This is where Oliver grew up at. He went to school here studying magic and honing his skills at it. And then when he turned 14, that's when the war started. Now we're introduced to several new characters. We get Baron Vanish and his crew called the Hollow. And he's already making his presence known. I looked at his hand, I'm like, yeah, he finna do something. And he says, if the headmaster will not listen, we will make him see. Then he blows up the city where Oliver is from. And the headmaster sees it. And he knows that it was Vanish. And now he's telling the kids at the school to prepare for war because Vanish is going to come there. Now the headmaster says, while other kids were learning math and history, they was being branded with the house sigil. And that made me laugh because he really said, while y'all was in the house, we was outside. So now we see the headmaster preparing them for this war. And we see that Oliver is not there because he asked for him. And with Oliver's narration of what's going on, he tells us that even if the kids step out of line, there were a lot of punishments. And if they broke one of the sacred ancient laws, there was instant, immediate death. Oliver broke 2 ancient laws that day. And to sum up one of the rules that Oliver broke, students cannot go in this room called the Dark Arcana, and they can't use anything in there. But Oliver does not care, because when Vanish exploded that city, his parents died with it. So as he searches the room, he grabs this thing called the Oraculum, and you can see the future with it. And he knew he had to do something because he is the chosen one. And when he had his vision, he saw Vanish ruling the world. And at that moment, he knew what he had to do. So now Vanish and the Hollow show up to the school. And we see that Vanish used to be a student there. And the headmaster blames himself because Vanish used to be under his wing. And he said that he should have been a better teacher to Vanish. Then the headmaster attacks Vanish. And then Vanish tells the headmaster, rest easy. Then he kills the headmaster, bro. He just blew this man's body in half. Now he's telling the kids that they can join him if they want to. And this girl, Eleanor, steps up to him and uses her magic against him and tells him just to shut up and leave. Now Vanish realizes that Eleanor's dad used to be a part of the Hollows, but I'm assuming he killed him, which he probably did because he said he couldn't keep his mouth shut. So now Vanish yanks up Eleanor, and at the same time we see the second rule that Oliver broke. And it says that no student can enter the world of citizenry without express supervision. Now someone yells to let her go, and Vanish is like, "Who is you?" And we see that it's Oliver, and he says that he's going to be the last person that Vanish will see. And it also says that you will receive the punishment of death if you break rule 2. And now we got Vanish saying that no magic in the world can hurt him. Now Oliver pulls out the Blake and he shoots Vanish in the head. And now Oliver is saying that day he was supposed to die because that was his destiny. And I'm like, maybe the Hollows were supposed to kill him after that, but they ran off. And now he pissed and he wants to kill them. Now we back in the present and we see Oliver just ram Battle Rocket's face into the wall. And then Battle Rocket tells Oliver that he's going to tell his team that he finally shown himself. And Oliver tells him, "I wasn't hiding. I was waiting and dreaming for this moment right here." Now Oliver swings and misses, but Battle Rocket flies in the sky. Then he starts talking. And we see that Oliver married Eleanor. And Battle Rocket continues to say stuff to piss Oliver off. Then he gets rocked. And now we see who Battle Rocket really is. His name is Balin Constance, and he was a member of the Hollow. Then he attacks Oliver, and Battle Rocket really think he won. Psych. Oliver just yokes him up with his chains. Crazy. And Oliver starts to stomp him out, and he takes his signet ring because it'll give him more power. Now Oliver is sober, and Balin Constance comes out of his Battle Rocket form. Now he tells Oliver that they were there for somebody else, and that they've changed, and he begs Oliver not to kill him. But Oliver deletes him anyway. Now Oliver is at home, and he says the word home feels alien to him, like he's been dreaming. But now he's awake, and he says that he's never closing his eyes again. Now Oliver goes to check on Eleanor, and he wants to tell her what happened, and that the visions he saw as a kid are real, and that he loves her and that he is at home. But he says he can't. Not until the mission is done, and then he uses his magic to call for his cloak. He's kept it down there hidden for years, saying it's like his own dark arcana, and he said he would never use it unless he needed to end the world. Now Oliver is getting his suit and stuff together, and he's thinking back on a time where Orin, the headmaster, used to talk highly of him and say that he was destined for great things, that he was the chosen one, and that he would always vanquish evil no matter what form or shape it takes. And Oliver says the Hollow are back. They've taken a new form and they're pretending to be superheroes. And then we see a billboard with the Hollow members, and they're now known as the Prestige. And since the Hollow want to be superheroes now, Oliver says that it's his turn to be the bad guy. So we start out here, and the year is 2001, and it's a Tuesday, and we see Oliver and a group of kids that he be with. And then I look in the background, I'm like, that ain't what I think it is. And it's the Twin Towers. I'm like, where is we about to go with this, dog? And they were on a field trip to the citizenry, which is basically the regular world. And their headmaster Orin had them covered with a cloak so that people on the outside of it cannot see them. And as they moved through the citizenry, they moved in slow motion in the cloak so they can learn from everything they see. And you would think the headmaster brought them there just to learn from the people in the citizenry. And then I see the month is September. I'm just like, nah. And then we see the plane flying to the building. I'm like, nah, ain't no way. Ain't no way. And the kids didn't know what was going on. They thought they were there just to learn and not to see evil acts of people from the citizenry. And Oliver is thinking, why don't we save them with our powers? And the people start to see the airplane going towards the building. And as the plane gets closer and closer to the building, the headmaster uses his magic to make the plane disappear. And everyone is happy and joyful that nothing happened to the buildings. And all of this ends happily ever after. Or at least that's what we thought. The headmaster Orin made them all watch as the towers fell and burned. Man. And Oliver says it's a lesson to be learned. because Orin, the headmaster, had this ideology is if you stop one thing, something else will happen. And with the headmaster having that type of ideology, it led to the rise of Vanish and ultimately the headmaster's death. And now that he's older, he still will never forget what Vanish did. And on that day he learned that if you stop something evil, there will be something else that is worse. And now Oliver brings up that Eleanor doesn't even talk about those days, but he still has dreams about them. So now he pays a visit to his best friend Dustin that he grew up with. And Dustin, I'm guessing, is a famous magician. And Oliver says he don't even probably think about them past days from what he doing now. Now Dustin is finishing up a magic show, and from the looks of it, it looked like he did good. He got people applauding and his confetti being thrown. That boy good. So the showrunner is telling Dustin that he did good, but he is mad that the bullet he has to dodge during the magic show is mistimed. And the showrunner asks, how do you still dodge it? And he tells her that he moves it. She like, are you serious? But he like, no such thing as magic. Of course I'm not serious. So he just lied to her about the magic and just told her to fix the bullet dodge. Now Dustin is in his room and Oliver walks in and he said what's up to him. Now we on the rooftop and Dustin is taking a drink of liquor. And he said, you did what? No lie, that made me think about that one episode from SpongeBob that everybody made a meme out of.
You what?
And it was so funny to me that I said it to my homies. That's a new meme, bruh. So now Oliver is telling Dustin about what happened back during issue 1 in that alleyway. And this whole time, Dustin thought he needed money. And Oliver is telling him that the new team called the Prestige is really the Hollow. Now I'm just wondering, what made them come out as the Prestige? What made them want to do that? And of course Oliver wants to do something about it, but Dustin doesn't care about it. And we see that it's revealed that there have always been superheroes since the Golden War, and that all the wizards either left or was banished. And Dustin wants to know, why does he care so much about them? And Oliver tells him that they don't get to just walk away from this. And Dustin brushes it off, saying that was a long time ago. But for Oliver, it wasn't. He's telling Dustin that he saw the future and he saw Vanish alive. Then Dustin cuts him off and asks him, does he has on Eleanor's signet ring? I'm like... Now Dustin asks him like, do he know? But Oliver is trying to explain to him. And he's confronting Oliver about it because he started a war with powerful people and leaving Eleanor unprotected. But Oliver tells him that she doesn't need his protection. And Dustin tells Oliver that he's not going to help him fight the Prestige. Now Oliver asks Dustin, is he going to do magic shows for the rest of his life? And Dustin says, yeah, that's exactly what he going to do. And I could tell that made Oliver salty. And now Dustin is telling Oliver that he's not going back to fighting for nobody. And Oliver responds saying, that's easy for you to say. And he says that Dustin has a lot, and that he has nothing, and that killing Vanish was the best and only good thing that he has done within his life. Now Dustin is like, what are you talking about? The only thing? Dustin tells him that he has everything, that he settled down, married the love of his life, and that he has one of the greatest sorcerers in the world waiting for him at home. And he tells him that if you do want help, go home, and to go find Eleanor. And we see Eleanor in the library, and Oliver shows up and accidentally scares her. And he apologizes about not being home. Now Eleanor confronts him about what he did. He hasn't been home in 2 days, stole her signet ring, and wasn't answering the phone calls, and he lied about being at the bar. And now Eleanor notices that he has something on called a glamour. And he wants to explain what happened, but she's so adamant about him showing. And he takes it off, and you can see her shock from what she sees, from all the bruises on his face. So now she wants to know. And he tells her about the muggers that were there hurting the woman. And she tells him that he could have been killed, but he's like, you should see the other guy. And that changes her whole attitude quick. He says it's a joke, and she asks him, did he use magic at all? And he gives her the look like, yeah, but he don't even want to say it. And now Eleanor is angry, but Oliver is like, nobody saw it. And he says she acting like that he's the villain, but she says you can help, and you can help by calling the police. And she tells him in those situations when he uses magic that he puts everything in trouble. And she asks for her ring back, and he gives it back to her, and he tells her that he didn't use it, he was just scared. And she says she's scared too. and now she wants to know, are they safe? Now we cut to somebody saying that they are screwed, and we finally see the Prestige. And a member of the Prestige tells Battle Rocket not to overreact, and Battle Rocket tells him that it's Oliver and he's back and that he knows about the Hollow. And Balin removes his disguise as Battle Rocket and he shows the Prestige what Oliver did to him that night in the alley. This man took the glass bottle and wrote out Hollow on this man's forehead. So off top we see Oliver just getting beat on by somebody named Wormhole. And that's what she calls herself now, because she was a member of the Hollows with Vanish, and now she's a part of the group called the Prestige, which is the group of people that Oliver is out here headhunting for. And now Oliver is still getting beat up. And the lady he is fighting, her name is Harrow Diosgate, or it's Diosgate, it's one of them. And she has a twin, and her twin are known as the Deadly Diosgate Twins. And she uses Wraith Magic, which means she is very fast. Now Oliver was going to wait to come after the twins. He was going to absorb the powers of the lesser members of the Hollow first. But right now, he is facing one of them. And he is drunk, his meds fading off, and his jaw broke. And he's saying he woke up to being punched by her like 24 times. That's crazy. Then he gets thrown into this bench. And here we get the introduction of Wormhole. And she sees for herself that Oliver is alive. And then she realizes that Oliver is drunk because she smells whiskey all on her hands from punching him. And Wormhole is telling Oliver to stay down. But of course he doesn't want to. He says that they started this and that they don't get to walk away. And she cuts him off saying like, we started this? And it turns out this dude Oliver was waiting and hiding, and he jumped out of a tree at her. And she thought he was just some drunk dude until she saw his sigil burning. And then she notices that Oliver is trying to do something. And he's trying to make a blade with his magic. And Harrow tells him that he has to be in a good place for that type of magic to work. But he doesn't care. And he just throws like a stack of wood at her. And he's saying that she should know better because how he dealt with Vanish. And we all know what happened to him back in issue 1. That boy got packed. Now she catches the wood that Oliver threw at her. And she hollering for real. She told him like, you think that will work? I blink at Mach 4. Now that's a crazy type speed just to be blinking at. And now Oliver is saying that when magic doesn't work, he uses blunt force trauma. He like kicks her in her back and like her ribs. Now the tables have turned and Oliver is the one hollering now. And he like, you need to breathe to run, right? Then he flips the script on her, saying what she said to him, that I don't know if you've seen you, but you don't seem to be doing well. It's finna be raps for her. Like it's over with. Now Oliver is finna stab her with that stake of wood. Then out of nowhere, he gets yanked back. And he's stuck to this pole. And he says that he's here. He should have known. And it's her twin brother, Ares Diosgate. And Ares can make nanoscopic razor wire with his mind. And that stuff can delete somebody and they won't even know what happened. And Oliver says to himself that he's screwed. And he is screwed because Ares is helping his sister and who knows what they about to do. Like Oliver is in a tight spot right now. So Ares asks Oliver, did he not learn anything at that school? But Oliver tells him, I learned to kill people like you. Now this dude Ares saying, oh, let's all chill out. Man, whatever. And he's saying that they ain't the people that Oliver think they is. Now Oliver like, you ain't the people that burnt my home, killed my parents, and helped Vanish? Ain't you the Hollow? And Harrow says that they are, but Ares says that they were. And Harrow says that's not them no more, and that people can change, and that they were brainwashed by Vanish, and that Oliver actually saved them in a way when he killed Vanish. But Oliver calls BS. And Ares says, why do you think you're alive? And he brings up the fact that somebody named Halcyon can atomize Oliver from the moon. The moon. That's far. Now Ares gets in Oliver's face and tells him to walk away from all of this and what he's doing. But Oliver's like, see, that's where you went wrong. Then he rips his hand from the razor wiring that he was caught on. Then he grabs the stake of wood with his other hand, breaks Harrow's knee. Then he stabs Ares in the side of his stomach And you see his hand just fall to the ground. Like, that's how fast he just did that. And now they just laid out. And Harold's screaming at him like, you broke my knee. And he like, it's okay. It won't hurt long. And he makes the blade that he was trying to make earlier. And Eris looks at him and is like, no. Then he stabs Harold and just starts to drain her power. This man is low-key a lunatic for real. And as Oliver is draining her power, of course Eris gets mad. That's his sister. She dead. But Oliver's like, I need more magic, bruh. I need it. He says he needs more. He said, I need it. I need it. I need it. I need it. Just like DJ Khaled. Like this Oliver right now.
I need it. I need it. I need it. I need it.
And I don't know, for some reason, it looked like Eris shrunk, then just got big and attacked at Oliver. It looked like that for some reason. But yeah, he attacked Oliver, but Oliver attacked back. And it's about to be rash for Eris. And Eris hits the ground afterwards. And Oliver's like, bro, you used to be so scary. Like, he is hollering right now, bro. Now, Eris trying to stay alive. He pleading. He like begging to stay alive. He's saying that Vanish made him do what they did. And that they had no choice. And Eris's body started to change. And Oliver is like, your body can't even decide whether it's a monster or a human. But Oliver says, I know what you are. He just slices at Eris. And Oliver tells Eris that he knows what he's done and he can't erase it. And something interrupts Oliver. And it's a helicopter. I'm like, oh, the feds here. And it's a whole news station over and watching them. And now we cut to Eleanor. And she's calling Oliver in the midst of all this. And now she hears about it over the news. And I'm like, yeah, she finna be pissed. And she sees what happened. And she is in so much shock. So she stops the call with Oliver. And she calls Dustin. Now we cut back to Eris and Oliver. And Eris is telling Oliver that he can't take on the whole world by himself. And that he has to stop what he's doing. And he's telling Oliver that he can help him. And that they can work together. I'm like, yeah, that's all cap right there. But Eris is telling him that everything that he is doing, like, you have to realize that it's over and that he killed Vanish. But Oliver stabs Eris and tells him that it's not over. Not for me. And as he drains Eris's powers from him, he says they make him almost feel whole. Like the last 20 years of his life wasn't a disaster. And now the cops are trying to arrest him. But Oliver is just thinking about how there's just more of that magic and energy out there and that he wants to obtain it. And so the cops told him to put his hands up. He like, these hands? And then the ground just starts to rumble. And then Oliver falls through. And then he hits the ground after he falls through. And he runs into another member of the Hollow. And this member's name is Battery. And Oliver says his sigil is burning like crazy. And that he knows that Battery has a plethora of magic that he can take from him. And that he can't wait to taste it. This man is a lunatic. No cap, I love how determined that Oliver is with this mission. Now we cut to Dustin and he's listening to a voicemail from Eleanor. And he's trying to call her back. And she ain't picking up. And then he goes into his room. And he looks very shocked. And he sees Halcyon. And I just know nothing good can come from this. So off top, Battery's just beating up Oliver. And Oliver is having an inner dialogue with himself. And he's saying that you would think he'd be tired of getting beat up by these so-called superheroes. But he's just been getting beat up since the day he was born. Now Battery is telling Oliver to stay down and that he doesn't want to fight. Then Oliver says to himself that all he has ever known is violence. And violence solves everything, and that violence will set you free. This man Oliver won't smoke with anybody. It don't matter who it is. Like, he bout it. He bout that life. So now Oliver is saying that people say that Battery is invulnerable. And Battery said he can just destroy him with a flick of the wrist. And Oliver, being the savage he is, he like, bro, let's find out. He will just wax him. And if you look close, Oliver knocked Buddy jaw off.
See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
Then Battery grabs Oliver and tells him that he's going to have to do a lot better than what he's doing to beat him. Now Oliver is being told by Battery that he has the right to be mad at everything that has happened in his past. But Oliver is like,
Fuck you!
Then Battery starts to crush Oliver and he tells him that no child should ever fight the wars of men. Because he was a kid fighting Vanish in the Hollows. That part was crazy. Now Battery is like, if you just keep on going on fighting like this, then out of nowhere, Battery just gets stabbed through the head by Oliver's magic. Now Battery falls into the water. Then Oliver grabs Battery. And it turns out it was a woman in there the whole time. Like, I thought it was this big brolic dude within this like big old machine thing. And it's revealed that her name is Ayana Kavia. She like, you maniac, saying that you just stabbed the old woman. But Oliver like, bro, I don't care. And Oliver says that she was the darkest magician within the Everkeep. And she was Vanish's ex-lover. And he starts to drown her. Now Oliver is saying that she had to do some crazy things to obtain the dark magic that she has. And as he drowns her, he drains her magic. And he says it feels profound, euphoric, and perfect. Now we cut to Oliver's best friend, Dustin, and he gets a phone call from Eleanor. And Halcyon asks if he gonna get it because it seems important. Now reminder, back in issue 3, the twins were talking to Oliver about Halcyon and how powerful he was. Then he showed up at the end of issue 3. Bro pulled up on Dustin right after one of his shows. Like, that was crazy. So off top, Dustin is telling Halcyon that he don't know where Oliver is. And Halcyon tells Dustin that he knows who he is and where he's been at for a while. And he says that Dustin is no threat. But Halcyon just wants to know where Oliver lives at. But he doesn't know because Eleanor placed concealment spells around their house. Now Halcyon is telling Dustin, we just want to find him. We don't want to hurt him. We just want to tell him some stuff. But then Dustin cuts him off, saying he isn't afraid of him. And he tells him that he's done being afraid of magic stuff. And that even if he did know where Oliver was, he wouldn't tell him. Now Halcyon slams Dustin against the wall. And Halcyon is like, maybe I should reintroduce myself. But Dustin is like, I know who you are. And Dustin starts to say who he is. He's like, you're Halcyon, leader of the Hollows. But Halcyon like, nah, my real name. And Halcyon's real name is Astrum Diabolus. And he is the scourge of the Everkeep. And he was Vanish's judge, jury, and executioner. Now Halcyon is provoking Dustin. He like, yeah, I see that hate in your eyes. Then Dustin just blasts him out the room. You can't be out here provoking people because you don't know what they gonna do. Now Halcyon probably has some type of invulnerability because he like, yo, I felt that. And he asks Dustin where he get it from, but Dustin like, magic tricks are for idiots and children. Now he tells Halcyon to get up. He ready to scrap. Now Halcyon flies towards Dustin. He tells him like, yo, I understand the hatred that you have for me. No, you don't, bro. Shut up. And he also said he had to make the right or wrong choice. Now he flies through the building with Dustin just going crazy. He says that he don't care about Baron Vanish. He said he ain't care about him. And he said it's no secret that he did it. And he said it came down to Baron Vanish or the headmaster Orin. Now Halcyon is basically saying like Orin brought all the kids into the war. Then he asked Dustin, or did you want to be in a war with old men? Then we see Dustin's phone fall out of his pocket. And Halcyon tells Dustin that he's giving him a chance to make his own decision. And he asks him, what will it be, right or wrong? Now we cut back to Oliver. Man's laughing like a maniac. And he's saying all his synapses in his brain is firing. And then he said, don't last. And he gets stole on. And it was Ayana who hit him. And I thought that he killed her. And he did too. And she looking crazy. She said it was a two-way street with that energy transfer. Then Oliver realizes that everything about her was true. And she made communes with the darkness. And she was saying it was forced on her and that Vanish used her. But then Oliver cuts her off like, bro, use a whole demon. Then Ayana tells Oliver that what she just felt in him, she hasn't felt in decades. And she tells Oliver that him and the world are in serious danger. Then Oliver is accusing her of bringing Vanish back and that he saw what happened. Then Ayana says that she's not the one bringing him back. Now when she said that, I'm like... Now Ayana is like, there are forces at play that we can't control. But I'm just like, what if Oliver is bringing back Vanish indirectly and unintentionally? Then Ayanna says she doesn't know how far Halcyon is going to take it, and we see Dustin getting stolen on by Halcyon. Then Ayanna tells Oliver that he should just run, not for his sake, but for his loved ones. Now Halcyon is beating up Dustin in the sky, and Dustin is bloody. Then we see his phone has fell to the ground and it's ringing. Then we come back to Ayanna talking, and she says that Oliver doesn't seem to be able to stop. And she asks Oliver, does he wonder why? Then Halcyon just blitzes so fast through this building with Dustin, causing an explosion. And Dustin's phone is still ringing. Then we see Halcyon just standing over Dustin's bloody body. Now Ayanna asks Oliver what's driving him to do all this, and whether if he's in control of himself or not. Now we come back to Oliver and Ayanna, and he says that he can't let her do this. And she said it don't matter if he kills her because she was sent there as a diversion, and that the best course of action was to go after Eleanor, his wife, just to take her hostage until Oliver stops. And she says, lucky for us, you're never home. And Oliver gets pissed and he just obliterates her, sending her to the Shadow Realm. Now we come back to Halcyon and Dustin, and Halcyon is telling Dustin that this is his last chance to tell him where Oliver lives, and that if he does, he'll be free and he'll wipe his mind of everything that just happened. And Halcyon says that everybody will live happily ever after, and what else is magic good for? And Dustin is trying to speak, but he can barely get it out. Then Halcyon tells him to speak up. Then Dustin just spits blood on him. I'm like, oh yeah, savage. And Dustin like, F magic, bro. He like, forget all that. Then Halcyon annihilates Dustin, destroying his body while doing so. This dude Halcyon said he was a waste. And RIP Dustin, man. Now Halcyon tells one of the Prestige members that he deleted Dustin because he protected Oliver. Then he sees the phone ringing, and he asks if he can get a trace on the number. Then it shows Oliver and Eleanor's home. I'm like, nah, bro, something finna happen. And she chilling and the phone was ringing. She picks it up and she sees that it's Dustin. And she answers it like, hello? And I don't know what she's hearing on the other side of the phone. And she says his name, like wondering if it's him. And I'm assuming she hears something because she says, is that you, Deacon? And we see Battle Rocket has shown up at their house. Bruh, that cliffhanger was crazy. I'm just like, nah, that's crazy. But the next arc begins in March, from what I know. So, hey, man, we're going to get more Vanish then. Hit that like and subscribe button, man. I'll catch you on the next one. God bless. I'm out.